Hello my friends, and welcome back to another week of Obsessed with Katty and Christy. These are the 4 papers that we're working with this week. I'm just trying to decide which one I want to use from the 12 by 12 ones that I have. So it's the yellow stripe, that black and white chevron, the triangles, and then that teal with the little tiny squares on it. So for this week we are actually following a recipe challenge, and our recipe is going to include 3 ephemera pieces, a stencil, a flare badge, stitching, a cork bow, and something from deep down in our stash. So I'm going to use this stencil, which is one of the items, with and I'm poking little holes with this stencil to stitch. So I'm going to do stencil and stitching, 2 in 1. I hope that's not considered cheating. So that's what I'm doing. The stencil, I don't know if I mentioned it, is from Tulip. I picked that up at Tuesday morning, and I'm just using regular sewing thread from Walmart in teal. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just sewing, and I'm not going to make you guys watch me do the whole thing. So come back and it's done. And I did 2 arrows, just one pointing to the left, one pointing to the right. I am using a photo of my 2 boys. It's an older photo of them, and they look so cute. They were all dressed up. We were at my nephew's baptism, so they look really cute, and they're just being kind of silly in the picture, making little silly smirks that they used to make when they were smaller. So I'm just cutting up some of the 6 by 6 papers to layer behind my photo, and I'm just kind of trying to see how I like it and just fussing with it. And you're going to see me fuss with it just a little bit until I get my layers how I want them. So yeah, so at this point really I had no idea kind of where this layout was going. I really just kind of started going at it, and when I did the arrows I really didn't know what I was gonna end up with. I was just like, okay, let me just go. Sometimes you can't think about things too much, you just have to do them. So that's what I did here. So, and I really love how it turned out. So I am just getting my layers down, and so I've already used the stencil, I've already used the stitching, and you're gonna see I am gonna do all everything that our recipe calls for. So you'll see me go through everything, and yeah, and make sure you guys check out Christy's video as soon as you're done watching mine. I'm sure it's gonna be awesome, and it's always so fun to see how different our layouts are using the same papers. So I can't wait to see her layout. So I'm looking through some of these flare badges now to try to see which one I want to use, and I'm not going to end up using any of those that are there. Took my little branding strip, and I'm going to place that across the center of my page, and then I cut out 2 strips from this chevron paper, and I'm just placing those on top, just sort of as a little resting place for my photos to sit on the page. And then I thought about using this flare badge from what is it called? Freckled Fawn. I do end up switching it out though for another one that's in a shade that matches more, a blue that matches more with my layout. So we do have to use 3 ephemera pieces as part of our recipe. So I just started pulling out all of the random ephemera from this, or most of the random ephemera from this pack. And I do end up using a total of 6 ephemera pieces. So I'm using the camera, the light bulb, the pretzel, the pear, and the rotary phone, and then that little floral sort of circle that says never want to grow up. So I just kind of went with all the random things, and then the pear actually gave me the idea for my title. So so it all worked out in the end. And the pretzel, you can't even really tell it's a pretzel because I'm covering it with the flare badge, so can't really tell. So for what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use some of this thread. It's the same thing, sewing thread, and I'm gonna use the Missy Wynn technique, which is using tangled thread behind flare badges, and I really love when she does that because it looks really cool. So that's what I'm doing now, and I use a coral thread, and I will add a darker pink thread just because the coral wasn't standing out all that much against that yellow paper. So I do add pink, and then I won't do it on camera, but I will add pink two under the light bulb and then under the rotary phone, and I will also pop them up. So you won't see me do that on camera, but I do that. So I take this Studio Calico flare badge, and has an ampersand on it, and there's my cork bow, so I did that as well. And then this is deep down from my stash. I pulled out these Prima brads, which I don't use anymore. They're actually like a school themed set of brads, but I barely use them because I don't know, we just don't use brads all that often anymore. So yeah, so I thought I'd pull those out and use some brads. So I'm just poking little holes and adding my brads, and they just say happy, the other one says cute, and then the other one is just little polka dots. So, and they're all little, well, two of them are hexagons, one of them is a circle. So that's what I use from deep down in my stash. So I have my ephemera pieces, I have my stencil, I have my flare badge, I have my stitching, cork bow, and something from my stash. So I have completed the challenge. Recipe challenge. I'm gonna use for my title these cork letters, which are called Dazzle from American Crafts, and then these Amy Tan little puffy thickers, which are called Memento. And then I'm going to, like I said, I used the pear as my inspiration for my title. So I'm gonna write out what a pair of characters. So and then I write out pear, obviously spelling it as P-E-A-R, as a pear. So I thought that was a little bit clever. I'm usually not very clever with my titles. I'm usually just kind of, I just use whatever I have, like a sticker or something. That's my title. So so yeah, so I thought that was a fun title. And I'm loving long titles lately. I really love, just I guess because I'm using up my thickers more, because I don't use my thickers. And then I just hoard them. So this is a great way to use them. So yeah, so the only thing you don't see me do on camera, like I said, was add some extra tangled thread behind the light bulb and the rotary phone, and of course the badge, the flare badge. So I do add some of the darker pink thread behind that. And then I take these little jewels. These are just little black jewels that I have in my stash, and I'm going to add them as if they were enamel dots. So that is going to be wrapping up my layout. I do want to thank you guys so much, and then I do swap out the of and the little flare, little enamel dots. So that is gonna be it, you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed. Make sure you go check out Christy's video. She's gonna be using the same papers and the same collection, but I'm sure her layout is gonna be totally different. So I can't wait to see. Thanks again for stopping by. If you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Until next time, bye bye.